Hey, what's up, guys? If you're just tuning in, welcome. We're just going to be live for a little bit. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe if this is helpful for you, or consider it. We're just here trying to answer some questions about selling on Amazon because it's pretty hard at the start. So it's a learning curve. So I'm here to help if I can at all. Otherwise, we're just going to be hanging out and chatting it up about Amazon. I'm going to post to Instagram to see if we can get some people in here. But yeah, it's just been 4th of July. If you're tuning in later, it's July 5th. Just had all that 4th of July celebration and stuff. Went to a Rockies game the 2nd, saw some fireworks there. Did the whole barbecue yesterday. But yeah, let's see what's been going on in the business recently. So I had my biggest ever profit sale yesterday, actually, on July 4th. It was a great July 4th gift. It was a $1,599 sale, which is amazing to see. That is a huge item. And after fees and everything, well, first of all, I purchased it for $500 off of eBay. And then after fees and cost of goods and everything, it ended up being a profit of $890. That is the biggest flip I've ever done. The second biggest flip I've ever done was back in the day when I did books. I sold a 𝗠𝗲 book for around $750 profit. So yeah, I was happy to see that. You don't build a business off those types of flips, really, but it's exciting to see. It was fun. I'd love to see in the comment section if you guys put below what your biggest flip was, biggest profit flip. The bigger profits, though, come when you sell multiple of a unit, because if you can get the same item over and over again, even if you're making much less profit per item, you can make a lot more money that way. I guess that's kind of obvious, but maybe it's not obvious. Some people just really go for the home runs all the time. And it's interesting because the people who end up making more money usually are the people who are going for stuff that sells over and over again profitably, that they can get on a regular basis. And there comes Stella. On Friday, I also went to Target, and Target had some amazing clearance deals. In the electronics section of Target, there were these iHomes, these radios, all these things that were like 70% off. Just really, really good profit there. If you do retail arbitrage and you do the RA game, it's definitely a great idea to be doing Target and those deals that are on clearance regularly. But yeah, welcome to the stream. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'd love to help out if I can. But for now, it's way too be warm to be wearing a sweater. It's the summer. I'm also curious how you guys are preparing for Q4, because Q4, it is like only the beginning of July, but in my head, Q4 preparation starts super early. And that doesn't necessarily mean like buying a ton of stuff and just like sitting on it for a half a year, but it does mean for me purchasing stuff and then doing test buys for stuff to make sure that you have experience selling volume of items. That way, you know the items that you can be purchasing during Q4. Because if you're just shooting in the dark Q4, that's not the best way to go. You're going to be selling stuff that you've been selling all year. So if you're just tuning in, we're just doing if you have questions, feel free to ask. I'd love to answer them. And also, it's just kind of a working hangout. You can just stay tuned in while you're working if you feel like it, or ask questions. Either way works for me. Might place some orders here. I have a ton of items that Roseanne, my virtual assistant sourcing employee, has found that I want to test buy a lot of these and like take a look at them and see if they are going to be profitable. She found a stack of just regular online arbitrage stuff that should move some volume. Also, I was looking to try to get into selling some of the accessories that I've been selling like the units of. So like printers, docking stations, multimeters, stuff like that. I'm curious to see if any of like the adapters or the like the spools are profitable as well. So we have a few of those to look into that I'm curious about, because potentially if an adapter is $35, $40, I bet people would sell it for $10, $15, $20 on eBay. Can sell some volume of those, and customers will be really happy to get something that's a little bit cheaper to help them. And then there's also some bigger items like $150 to $400, $300 sale price that we can get on eBay for cheaper that I want to do some test buys on. So yeah, I'm going to take a look at these. I'm looking at some 𝗦𝗏𝗃 labeling tape. Gonna see if that works. Also taking a look at some regular Dymo shipping labels. They're a 30,000 rank in office. It's pretty good. But they trend to be more like 60 or 70,000. So they're a little bit slower. So that one might not be as good of a one. But Amazon's not on this listing, which is pretty cool. I'm curious what you guys think. Do you guys sell on a listing that Amazon is on it, or do you just automatically stay away? My take on this is that I always test buy less if Amazon's on the listing, and I make sure that I'm profitable, even if I have to undercut Amazon. And then I try not to go too deep, because sometimes there's things when Amazon's on the listing, they're just going to take all the buy box, even if you undercut them. So you have to be sure that you play this safely. But I mean, there's plenty of listings to make great money on that Amazon's also on the listing. So I don't think you should just stay away from Amazon just because they're on the listing. Definitely not. Especially if you're selling used, because oftentimes Amazon's on the listing and they're the new price, but of course they're higher because it's new. But used, you can really undercut and still get sales. I still test buy lower though. And it looks like one of these is actually going to be an IP complaint item. So one way to stay away from IP complaint items, a pattern that happens even when you have IP alert and it shows that there's no reports made on it. If you see that the brand is on the listing, and you also see that the Keepa graph is showing that one person for the majority of the time is selling the item. And also when new people try to get on the listing, they go off the listing pretty quickly. All of those are signs that it's a possible IP complaint item. So just know that that's a much higher risk of IP complaints. So you want to be really careful with those. Zan usually catches that, but she didn't catch it with that one. Kevin, what's up? Good to see you. If you guys aren't subscribed to Kevin, he does all the shoe RA. Goes into all the stores with the GoPro strapped to his head like a champ. Alyssa, what's up? Good to see you. How did June turn out for you guys? 4th of July was pretty good. Got to, oh, it's on the chest. I feel like I want to get a GoPro and like wear a big jacket or something. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a way to hide the GoPro. I feel like if I took it to the Goodwill Outlet World, I don't know if you guys know that place, but people would just laugh me out because people just go there all the time. But yeah, you're right. Just wear it. People might just be respecting it. The RA content's fun to watch too. Did you guys get to see family? My wife and I spent a good amount of time with her side of the family. Her side of the family comes in and visits for 4th of July. So we got to see a lot of her extended family. We went to a baseball game, and then we did a barbecue on the actual 4th. June was good, but I didn't spend enough, so July is rough so far. I'm actually a little bit in the same boat. My July is going to be a lot lower than the last couple months. I am at a point where I'm really wanting to pay myself quite a bit, so it's going to be a slower July, and that's okay, and that's the way it needs to be. It'll pick back up August, September, I think. Hoping July will be an all-time eBay month, all-time high eBay month. Yeah, you have a lot of stuff listed on eBay. It's probably good for tennis shoes, right? I feel like eBay is a good place to sell shoes. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like it's it's kind of like a 2-3, like a 3-week delay from whenever you send out the items. So if you receive the items like later this week or something, it'll be like late July. $1,400 items. Oh, okay, so some of those are quantity listings. That's always helpful. Definitely love those quantity listings. It's nice to not have to take pictures of like so many items. It's crazy with Amazon. You can just stack up on the quantity and only have a certain amount of ASINs. Joji Davenport is saying, new here, how much are you spending on OA books per month on average? Yeah, so I don't really do online arbitrage for books. I've done some online arbitrage for books, but most of my online arbitrage is purchasing something like a docking station or a router or a tool on eBay. And then from there, I make sure that there's an Amazon listing where people are actively buying the used item of that item, and I send it into Amazon. But on online arbitrage, I think my inventory is like, if you go into Inventory Lab, the inventory valuation is around 65,000. So whatever it is to replenish that is probably that divided by 6 by the time inbound is happening. So I think this week I've spent like 6,000. I quit Amazon, but I'm still pulling up to the Amazon functions. Yeah, I mean, it's all reselling. What did something happen with Amazon, or you're just kind of like, I like eBay better? I'm just curious. It's a love-hate relationship with Amazon sometimes, to be completely honest with you. Amazon is like tight-fisted, like it needs to be this way, or like we're going to put your whole inventory on the line. So Amazon's like the side chick that you stay with, even though she's slightly abusive. But she's just too attractive to leave, you know? That's so cringy to say. But yeah, Amazon. Yeah, but you can make some great money with Amazon for sure. Joji's saying, cool, man. What margins are you working with? So like if I spend $100, most of the time I'm trying to make at least 130. So that would be $30 profit. So 30%. It's usually between 30% and 80% on average. And I'm hoping those items, like I'm always purchasing, trying to have those items sell within a month of them being active, because I don't want stuff that's just going to sit there forever, you know? Even these days, I'm trying to shoot for like 2 weeks. eBay's been working, so I'm going to keep it rolling. Yeah, exactly. You just got to do what works. Reselling such a privilege, because like we don't have to market. I mean, I guess you do a little marketing on eBay. You take pictures and stuff. You have to like make sure that you're a good seller that people want to buy from. But if you have good inventory, people are going to buy your stuff if you list it. Now, if it sits in my basement and just collects dust, it's not going to ever sell. But Novamasta78 is saying, I'm having a hard time trying to switch from RA to OA. Anything you can recommend? Yeah, it's I vividly remember this, and hopefully this is encouraging. I was doing books from September of 2 years ago all the way until June of last year. And as of June, I started doing retail arbitrage. It took me several months to learn to do that decently. And then from there, it was definitely a transition to even move to online arbitrage. So I would say if you're 100% retail arbitrage, try and replenish one or two of the ASINs that you're on the hunt for. Try to replenish those on the site instead. Like if you go to Walmart and you buy pickleballs or whatever, like see if those are on the site. Like just go through all the ASINs that you have and see if you can purchase any of those online. That's the easiest way to get your foot in the door with retail arbitrage. And then from there, you can slowly make it 15% OA, 85% retail arbitrage, and it'll just get easier and easier to snowball that. Joji says, ever tried to OA for books? The margins could be higher. I have a little bit. One thing that I don't love about OA for books is with online arbitrage, you need more capital because you're basically using your money instead of using time, which is great. But in order for that to be sustainable, your stuff needs to sell really quickly. And so a lot of book online arbitrage that I've seen and learned about revolves around textbook season. And so hypothetically, you could buy stuff in June, July for August, and then November, December for January. But that's like, it's harder to do that year round. And also I don't have an account that is unrestricted in books, like the more expensive textbooks, which is like, it makes sourcing a challenge sometimes. And also what I'm doing is just like generally working for me. So I'm happy with it. But the margins probably are higher. I'm sure you guys have heard of Rake and Profit. He doesn't do online arbitrage for books, but he does, part of his reselling model is he does board games and DVDs from like Facebook Marketplace and eBay to Amazon. And his margins are higher. He doesn't necessarily do the 30, 40, 50% ROIs. He goes for more like the 70 to 200% ROI. But his stuff does take longer to sell, he says. He says sometimes it takes several months. And so that way you can use less money, which is a great thing. And Kevin's saying, main reason I'm not doing Amazon heavy is I never started doing OA seriously. Yeah. And like, it's not like you have to. It's not for like, everyone doesn't have to do OA seriously. There's great money with retail arbitrage. And it's good content. Like, RA is really relatable. Maybe I need to get over this, but trying to source and make videos about it is difficult because sharing the items is, I'm curious how you deal with this, Kevin, because like if you share all the items that you're selling, like, doesn't it just take one or two people to like not like you or something for some reason and like buy your stuff and counterfeit claim you? Like, I don't know. I guess you probably show most of the items that you sell, and that probably isn't a problem. But yeah, I'm sure Ritchie hustles. Yes, as in that's not a problem, or yes, that is a problem. But Joji says, I started using Be Cool yesterday. Any tips or things to look out for? Yeah, Be Cool is amazing. I love Be Cool. I use the sales booster, and I try to make a little bit of a gap of the buy box. So I would want the buy box to be like in the middle of my range. That way it has a little space. Yeah, you definitely got to be a scumbag for that. So like almost nobody's going to do that. And plus it's like, it's kind of tedious to find someone's storefront. So yeah, and I bet, yeah, you've never experienced it. And you like show a lot of your items. I probably shouldn't be so worried about it. I mean, I've showed some of the items that I have sourced on my channel, and I don't think any of my issues have happened from it. I don't know, guys. What would be more interesting if I take a GoPro into an estate sale, if I take a GoPro into the Goodwill outlet world, or I like completely show purchasing items eBay to Amazon? People can do that for eBay too, and everyone knows my store, but haven't had anyone do it. Yeah. What do you mean people can do that for eBay too? Like people can, oh yeah, I see. So like people can know what your store is on eBay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, all the YouTube resellers who like show their eBay stores, like nobody just like purchases and returns and purchases and returns. Why not do it all? Yeah, I guess I could just make a bunch of different videos about all this stuff. Buy something, return it, or just see what I have in your inventory. I think the only con with eBay is like if people come to your store and they don't purchase, I've heard it like doesn't do great for the algorithm or something. I've heard Daily Refinement complain about that. I accidentally find other people's stores on Amazon more than I expected, like other Instagram resellers. Maybe I'm just not good at understanding how to see it, but I only come across a few people's. True. Yeah, that's a good point, because once you go straight to their storefront, it gives their name. It's interesting seeing how many feedback people have, because it's interesting sometimes some people will be doing like less in sales, but they're doing more volume or something, and they have more feedback than you, and you're just like, where did all that feedback come from? Or like someone's doing like massive volume and they have like just barely more feedback than you. That's how I found you, Seth. Just kidding. I've never found your store. When you come across a store that just has all used items, you'll know it's me. One time, a funny story, I was doing a consulting session with someone, and I was trying to teach him how to storefront stock. And so I gave like an example item, and then I said like, so like all of these sellers are selling them successfully. So we probably want to go into one of their stores and see what they're selling. And so he clicks the stack of sellers and like says my name. He's like, well, what about that store? I'm like, sure, we can do that store. He just like scrolls through all my stuff. And he's like, I think that item looks good. I was just trying to play it off like it was someone else's store. Yeah, it's only happened a handful of times, but it's still wild how many sellers are out there. Yeah, there's so many sellers out there. Yeah, it was so awkward. Like, what am I gonna say? Like, that's my store, don't look. The interesting thing though is like all of us are good at sourcing in our different ways. And so even if someone has our storefront, it's just not an automatic that they're just going to know how to source all our items. Like someone can go in my store and see that like I'm selling a docking station or whatever. But like, are they going to know how to get it profitably the exact same way as me? Because if they search it in eBay, it's not going to be there for sale when they look for it. And like we go to Kevin's store and like you had to be at Marshall's on June 13th at 9:34 a.m. in order to get the deal for him. And for 𝗦ici's store, you had to be at the library sale at the right time. And for Joji, you had to snipe the textbooks in order to get profitable inventory. Yeah, just got to play it off. Yeah, when we were in the store, I was just like, all right, so what looks profitable? Just kind of let him do it. Yeah, when you do books, you don't have to worry about it as much. Yeah, exactly. Books is just fierce in person. If you see someone else, you just competition mode. When I went to estate sales and there were other booksellers there, I just had to throw all the books that seemed profitable in my bin and then scan them later. I'd only be worried about it because negative feedback or counterfeit claims to mess with you. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but thankfully negative feedback for FBA, almost always you can get it cleared. And Kevin's saying that also it's never been an issue for him, and his main thing has been sourcing videos. Like that's what he does most of the time. He shows all the items that he sells, and he hasn't had problems with it. So it'd probably be very obvious what my storefront is, but I think it would be okay. Also, 𝗦ci Hustle shows everything that he sells. I'm sure it'd be extremely easy to find his storefront. Yeah, staring people down at the thrift store. If you go to a thrift store and there's another seller there scanning already, do you continue at that thrift store or do you leave? I'm curious your thoughts, and then I'd say my thoughts. You're more in the book game than I am right now, but for me, when I did books anyways, I would like try and observe them before they see me. And I'd look and see if he's even scanning every single book. Because like you'd be surprised how many booksellers, they just like go to a store and they just like stand and look at the books and they just like scan the ones that look profitable to them. And if they're not scanning every book or like scanning a majority of them, there's often plenty of books there still. And Joji says, yes, develop a relationship with them. Yeah, it's always good to have Amazon seller friends. You can often learn a lot too. And it's also interesting because sometimes they are doing just merch fulfilled, but like there's FBA books that are profitable. Or they're just like doing Book Scouter or something. Like there was this lady who would come into the Goodwill outlet world and all she did was, I think it was called Book Scouter. So there were FBA books that were profitable that she would leave behind. Depends on the size of the thrift store for me. Yeah, that's a good point. If it's a tiny little one, maybe not. But if you see they're scanning, but they have like 3 books in their cart and there's whole other sections, you could just go to that section. Or you could just stand on top of them and like shoulder them out and scan what they're scanning. If you want to be a jerk. That's only at estate sales or library sales. Do you mainly do OA for books or mainly just thrifting? Just thrifting, getting into OA for other categories, but still thrifting books. It's such good ROI and return on investment. It's a great way to build capital too. Well, it's been good chatting. I'm going to get off and probably go for a little walk, but thanks for hanging out, guys. And if you guys have any questions or want to connect or anything, I'm always on Instagram. I always check my messages. So yeah, let's keep talking and hanging out. I plan on doing a live stream. I think I'm going to do it every day this week, at least until up until the weekend. But yeah, I'll be posting about that on the story. And yeah, Alyssa's saying there were dozens of other scanners at my local library sale, but it didn't matter. It was massive and we all had a hauls. Yeah, that's the way to do it. It's so nice when there's like plenty of books for everyone. All right. Have a good evening, guys. Hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya.